Welcome to the first test, hopefully first of a series, recordings of a lengthy inspection of Dragon Age Origins. Now, Dragon Age Origins was developed by Bioware Edmonton, published by Electronic Arts Incorporated on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2009 for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Microsoft Windows, and Macintosh. Now, this is my statement of intent. Basically, I want to put out consistent videos with minimal editing. I might do the old Twitch Stream-to-YouTube VOD route once I'm comfortable enough. I've been morbidly curious in Dragon Age Origins due to, one, being released in 2009, so I've read, heard, and seen a lot about it during my 2009 research, and two, more so, the choices and consequences quote has largely been bullshit in my mind when it comes to video games, and Bioware have long been heralded as excellent player choice developers prior to their Mass Effect 3 days. And it's all that I've heard when I've been listening to them talk about Mass Effect 2, Dragon Age Origins, and Star Wars: The Old Republic during 2009. I've already played Mass Effect 2, and I know how bullshit the Shepard can die and suicide missions are, given that you intentionally have to fuck it up in the last sequence to kill off everyone, including Shepard, and that the save doesn't carry forward into Mass Effect 3 if that happens as well. I'm not about to play The Old Republic, so Dragon Age Origins it is. I want to know what these choices and consequences are, how true they are, how morally complex the decisions are, and how easy it is to get a companion to leave or fight you, because that was the other big PR line in previews, was that the companions had their own opinions and could leave or try to kill the player character depending on what you decided to do. And I want to know if, like Mass Effect 2, how intentional you have to do to actually get that to happen. To me, if this is something that you have to intentionally seek out to perform, I think that robs a lot of the tension and strength behind characters having independence from the player's dictations. I already know about the gift system, where you presumably would shower a companion with gifts after pissing them off to keep them happy, and I think that sounds really stupid, given the apparent intention behind the system. Anyway, so I'm going to first play each and every origin in Origins, and then pick one that I think will be the most interesting. Player statistics released afterwards showed that the Dwarf, Elf, Human line is basically the least to most popular picks, so it will very likely not be either of the human origins I play through, because I'm trying to break from the inclination I have when playing most games to stick with the choice that is the most safe and boring one available. Fun fact, this runs at 720p 60 FPS according to my Elgato, which is actually kind of cool because I did not expect it to run at 1080p. I think the HD generation was largely a lie, at least in terms of 1080. Pretty much all games ran at 720 or even lower probably. And 60 FPS was also something that actually wasn't attained that often. So it's very funny nowadays when you talk about the current consoles and how they also can't seem to really hit 60 FPS. Seems like that really was never something that the consoles were able to do. Alright, so it's checking for online stuff. I'm playing this on PlayStation 3. Hopefully this works. Come on, just fucking load. Oh my god. It's gonna have to do this every time, isn't it? That's annoying. This is back when I think every Bioware game was like connected to their EA servers for some reason, for DLC and other dumb stuff. Alright, so do I have anything? I don't think I have any. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, the servers are pretty much gone. Alright, so let's see. Do hard, quick heal, use the most appropriate, use the weakest, do most appropriate. Plot help icons, persistent gore, save automatically. Just loot, party. Okay, that seems fine. Sound effects, subtitles, definitely want subtitles on everything. Brightness will turn down. That should be fine with brightness. Alright, I forgot to do the multi-channel audio out, so my TV is going to be playing audio. Alright, the background you select will determine blah blah blah. Yeah. So you get 6 choices in origin. 1 human noble, I think. A mage. Some D-word elf. A city elf. A dwarf noble. And a dwarf commoner? Okay. I do enjoy whenever any piece of fiction opens with a fake quote attributed to a fake author in a fake book.
Of men which brought the darkspawn into our world.
Always a good time.
The mages had sought to usurp heaven, but instead they destroyed it. They were cast out, twisted and cursed by their own corruption. They returned as monsters, the first of the Darkspawn. They became a blight upon the lands, unstoppable and relentless. The Dwarven kingdoms were the first to fall, and from the deep roads, the Darkspawn drove at us again and again, until finally we neared annihilation. Women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. The Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness and prevail. It has been 4 centuries since that victory, and we have kept our vigil. We have watched and waited for the Darkspawn to return. But those who once called us heroes have forgotten. We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long. Seen with my own eyes what lies on the horizon. Maker, help us all.
Alright. Pretty cool. So we got hubris of man causes corruption. I've been reading a lot of Warhammer, so I'm gonna make a lot of Warhammer comparisons throughout this. But this is like chaos breaking into our plane of existence and corrupting and turning humans into chaos demons. But anyway, all right. So hubris of man causes corruption. 400 years since last war with Darkspawn. I already forgot what the term was. Darkspawn. Grey Wardens were saviors. Now So that's your basic premise. It is a pretty decent premise. Alright, so we got male and female. Alright, so let's pick male for first. Now we can do our race. So we can do human, most numerous, yet most divided. Only 4 times they were united under a single cause. The last being centuries ago, religion and chantry. Culture from the elves and dwarves. Humans can be warriors, rogues, or mages. Okay, so racial benefits is strength, dexterity, magic, and cunning. Once enslaved by humans, most elves have all but lost their culture. Always the bow. The elves can never escape that. At least in this one, they're not. They're basically former slaves and all impoverished, which is different from the usual elf thing of them, you know, living in the forest and super high and mighty. Basically, the Tolkien. Elves can be warriors, rogues, or mages. Willpower, magic. Okay, so if we do a mage, it'll definitely be the elf, which I think was supposed to be another thing from that statistic where they talked about how the dwarves were the least picked and the humans were the most picked, like 80% of the time or something, which is pretty. It's boring, but it's understandable. Okay, dwarves. Originally found by caste and tradition, the dwarves have been waging a losing war for generations. Lost stronghold of their once vast underground empire from the Darkspawn. Dwarves are very tough, high resistance to all forms of magic, thus preventing them from becoming mages. Okay, so they cannot become mages. Strength, dexterity, constitution, chance to resist hostile magic. Alright, so we're just gonna go down the line, essentially. So what was it? Humans have strength, dexterity, magic, cunning, willpower, and magic. Strength, dexterity, constitution. So we'll do a human rogue, since they have that +1 to cunning. Oh, I can only be a noble. Okay. Probably because I picked rogue. Okay, so if I pick magic, it would be noble. Okay. So warrior and rogue can only be noble, and human mage obviously can only be a magi. Okay, makes sense. Born to wealth, power, second only to royalty. You find your training in both diplomacy and battle to put the test ability books from the forest in the south. Alright, so we're going to do human rogue first. Rogue, noble. So that's our first. Male, also. So the next human will be female. Well, maybe I should do... Well, I don't know. Does it matter? It shouldn't matter. Yeah, it should matter. We can do a female warrior. Who cares? The game doesn't make any difference. Alright. Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care about the name. I know people really fucking love character creators, but I really don't care. Friendly fire to manage your party inflicts half damage. Full damage. The origin should be pretty easy, so I'll play on hard just to get used to it. And then once I get into the main game and make a choice on which character I want to bring forward to basically play the entire game as, then I'll change it up maybe then.
For generations, your family, the Kuzlans, has stewarded the lands of Highever, earning the loyalty of your people with justice and temperance.
Of course, noble humans.
When your country was occupied by the Orlesian Empire, your father and grandfather served the embattled kings of your land.
Noble is both moral and class.
Today, your elder brother takes up House Kuzlan's banner in service to the crown. Not against the men of Orlais, but against the bestial Darkspawn rising in the south.
I trust then that your troops will be here shortly.
I expect they will start arriving tonight, and we can march tomorrow. I apologize for the delay, my lord. This is entirely my fault.
No. The appearance of the Darkspawn in the south has us all scrambling, doesn't it? I only received the call from the king a few days ago myself. I'll send my eldest off with my
Alright, so
men.
this guy's definitely gonna
You
die.
and I will ride tomorrow just like the old days.
True. But we both had less grey in our hair then. And we fought all legions, not monsters.
At least the smell will be the same.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Pup, I didn't see you there.
I
How? You remember my son?
I see he's grown into a fine young man. Pleased to see you again.
You're gonna betray us. Okay, so I'm usually not a big stickler for graphics during this era. However, it's just like the clothing, the faces. Oh man, it's just not great. Like, oh boy. It'll be fine, but like just first impressions, I'm like, damn. I mean, I know this generation. I play PS3 games all the time. I'm familiar with what they looked like. I lived through it. I continue to live through it. But man, this game is something else. All right, so let's see. I can be an asshole. Pleased to see you. Be courteous. Ask a question. Another question. Let's do this one.
Oh no, I left them in Amaranthine, well away from the fighting in the south. They do send their best wishes.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
My daughter Delilah asked after you. Perhaps I should bring her next
We're
time.
gonna get married? Yeah, sure.
Good. She's talked about you ever since she saw you at a fair in Denerim.
Aren't you
I
looking
think
at me when
have
you
an
talk to me?
admirer, young man.
At any rate, Pup, I summoned you for
Pup.
a reason.
Oh my
While
god.
your brother and I are both away, I'm leaving you in charge of the castle.
Thanks. Yeah, why can't I go to bed?
I'm certain you'd more than prove yourself, but I am not willing to deal with your mother if you join the war.
That's okay. You're all gonna die
She'd
soon
kill
anyway.
me if I let you go. She's already twisted into knots about Fergus and me going.
Okay, so this is one of those things where it's like, you know, nothing's going to change the plot. So a dialogue option like this seems like a waste of time. I guess it kind of, I don't know. Sometimes it'll talk about, people will talk about like how it's less about making like dialogue choices, specifically with like The Walking Dead, the Telltale series. It's basically you're kind of just choosing the type of character that you are when you make these sorts of decisions, and less about being able to affect the plot. Which obviously, like I said in the introduction to this, Bioware really talked about how no, you are going to affect the plot with your choices. But there are obviously always going to be restrictions to that, such as the origin, which is like there's no way that you are going to be able to go. So like choosing this option, let's see, choosing this option, that's an interesting choice. So basically, yeah, they give you 3 options to basically have different flavors of rejection, almost. And then, of course, this one's just like, okay, yeah, sure. That one's whining. This one is vaguely threatening. I don't know if that's supposed to be a joke. And this one just seems like a useless one. I kind of want to see what this is.
Now don't make me choose between
Okay,
fighting
joking.
you or the Tanner. Your mother is the one I'm frightened of. This is no needless task. I ask you to take a great
Yeah, so this is one of those
responsibility.
things where that
Only a
line
token forces
would be
remain here,
played
and you must keep
after
peace
whatever
with each
flavor line you picked
know what they
would
say about
get a
mice
response
when
from
the cat
him,
is
a
away.
different response from
Yes.
him. So each of
There's
those
also
flavors would
someone
get a
you
different
must
response
meet.
from him, and then they would
Please,
just get back
show
onto
Duncan.
the plot track, which would be that one. It's kind of funny because you can kind of tell with the audio track that they picked.
It is an honor to be
It has a
against
different
your
tenor
hall,
from the
Terrence.
line that just played.
Your lordship,
When it
you didn't
goes
mention
from
that
the
a grey
reaction to what the
warden
player
was present.
picked line to
Duncan
the
arrived
plot
just
line.
recently, unannounced.
And I don't know if
Is there
that's
a problem?
I feel like that's
Of
a
course not.
technical limitation and not
But
so
a
much
guest of this
a
stature
failure.
demands certain protocol. I am at a disadvantage.
We rarely have the pleasure of seeing one in person, that's true. Pup, Brother Aldous taught you who the
Why
Grey
do they
Wardens are
insist
now.
on calling me pup? They defeated the Darkspawn. Small order, no longer important. Could be nice, could be nice. can be an asshole, a bigger asshole. Well, we're gonna get inducted into them, so I'm gonna be an asshole.
Maker's breath, mind your manners.
I take no offense. The Grey Wardens are not what we once were.
I'll not have the Warden spoken ill of in my household. Without them, the Darkspawn would have killed us all in the first blight. You are the only reason men still live in Thedas. Duncan is looking for recruits before joining us and his fellow Wardens in the south. I believe he's got his eye on Sir Gilmore.
If I might be so bold, I would suggest that your son is also an excellent
What
candidate.
makes me a great
Honor
candidate?
though that might be, this is one of my sons we're talking about.
Join them. Let's. Okay, I think I rather like the City of Father. Blah blah blah. It's boring. I kind of want to pick this one just because I want to see. He must know, because I've played this before, not like super deep, but like I know what goes into becoming a Grey Warden essentially, and so I think my father knows as well, and that's why he doesn't want me to do it. I have no interest. Let's just say I have no interest.
Well, Duncan, he is not interested. So unless you intend to invoke the right of conscription...
Have no fear. While we need as many good recruits as we can find, I've no intention of forcing the issue.
Pup, can you ensure that Duncan's requests are seen to while I'm gone?
Don't train my abilities.
And don't strain my patience.
Yeah, whatever. You're gonna be
In
dead
the
soon.
meantime, find Fergus and tell him to lead the troops to Ostagar ahead of me.
Where's Fergus? He's trying to get rid of me.
We'll talk before I leave tomorrow. We must discuss the battle plans in the south. Be a good lad and do as I've asked. We'll talk soon.
Alright, whatever. Can I still, like, talk to him? Oh, I can't. Okay, cool.
I'm sorry, but I believe your father wishes to talk to the Arl and myself alone.
Maybe we speak later.
Your father has left you in charge of the castle? Then I will see you at dinner tomorrow, if not sooner. Honestly, the Wardens would be thrilled to have you, but I won't go against your father's wishes.
And not until he's dead.
If you wish to discuss this further, however, let us talk after your father and the Arl depart.
I'm standing right here, you know.
I'm only suggesting satisfying my host's curiosity, as tempting as recruitment might be.
Right. What about you, Arl?
Yes?
Oh, so we can find out more about
We
him.
fought together
Yeah,
under
whatever.
King Maric when he drove the Orlesians out of heralded. Heady times. The years since.
Alright, I am
have not
curious
held
why.
the
I want to
same
know
promise.
the why.
It's not something a youth would
I know he's going to
understand.
betray us.
It will be
I
good
can't
to
remember if I
ride
played
beside
through
your
this specific
father
origin.
again.
I think I did. But also, this is the sort of character where it's like so obvious, just with the way he looks and his voice actor, the way he's portraying him is like such a very obvious like, oh well, this is the betrayal character, which I don't know. This just seems boring. Like why would you make it so obvious?
Your father hasn't spoken of our time with him? That man took care of his friends. As they say, he was large as life and twice as tall. It's too bad Kalen isn't half that. I think of him as much as he thinks at all.
That's enough, Hal. You speak of our king.
Oh, the boy did ask, your lordship, as per the latitude you allow. I merely offered my opinion. The topic has come up from time to time. The young and their infatuations.
Okay, how old is she? I know there was a thing earlier that said she's a few years younger than me, but like how I don't know, whatever. Let's say this.
I'm sure that was years ago. People change. To be honest, I have no expectations. And your father seems determined to
I wonder
let
if we'll
you
meet her
find
later
your own
if you
way.
play. I'll have to look that up.
If something did
I'll
happen,
write that down. Do we
well,
meet Delilah?
we'd address it as
the
befits
human
a family of our stature.
noble. Yeah, it's just...
I'm sure
Let's talk it up. I know it's not
there
going
will
to
be
happen.
much to discuss
So.
once I return. Poor weather, I believe. Their progress has been slow, but it's nothing you need worry about. In a manner of speaking, if I had reinforced our border levies earlier, my troops could have left before the rains. I confess, my confidence in your father allowed me some complacency. I guess that makes it as much his fault. I thank you. That is quite unnecessary.
Sounds like something someone who would betray me is going to say.
Shouldn't you be off to your brother, as I asked?
Shut up.
Your brother and I go into battle, not an afternoon tea. Who knows what will happen to us?
Yeah, I'm going
I
to try and
will
keep
tell
these
you,
videos
however,
to 45
You're my
minutes.
cherished son. I love you. And I trust you completely to carry on the Kuzlin name if the worst should happen. But don't worry about me, dear boy. You'll have enough to occupy your mind while I'm gone. Upstairs in his chambers, no doubt, saying goodbye to Oriana and your nephew. When the king demands it. In fact, not sending our forces south would be a distinctly bad idea. Don't worry, pup. You shouldn't see many problems, but I want you to prepare the men left here, in case. Legends of the Blights tell of horrible things. These Darkspawn once threatened many lands. If we can't hold them, you must prepare for the worst. I trust you to do what is best. And don't be afraid to ask your mother's advice. She's Ferelden-born, strong, just as you are. But let's not speak of ominous things. We shall assume that all will go well, and the Maker will watch over us. I'll talk to you soon. Just let me finish my meeting with Duncan.
Yeah. Alright, I think I've exhausted the...
Good evening, my lord.
Good evening, my lord.
Good evening, my lord.
I always love doing this in every game, just
Good evening, my lord.
pushing the... How many... Oh, I thought that was a guy. Pushing how many audio things people
Good evening, my
recorded for, like, the very ancillary
Greetings, my lord. You are the Terran
characters.
son, are you not?
Let's see. So this is a guy who's going to betray me.
That is good to know. I understand you shall take charge of your father's castle once we march.
He also just sounds like, I'm going to betray you.
Ah, then I wish you luck. Good evening,
It's
my
so
lord.
obvious. Oh my god.
Good evening, my lord. Good evening, my lord.
No, I'm talking to this guy.
Good evening, my
No,
lord.
I'm talking to him.
Good evening, my lord.
I'm fucking talking to you. Lord. I'm assuming that's our mother. It's kind of like weird to have a photo like that, or a painting like that.
Good evening, my lord.
Lord.
Good evening, my lord.
They really only recorded one line. Yeah, that's, I don't know, that's kind of weird to have paintings like that. Alright, so should I go this way? Let's see.
Good evening, my lord.
Uh-huh, yep, good evening. I'm so surprised this runs at 60. It's like cool, but it's just like kind of funny. You really wouldn't expect... You would expect something like, you know, Devil May Cry. To have that. Oh, Codex. Oh, God. I forgot. I forgot we were playing a Bioware game for a minute. Okay. The Fade. Okay, so that's the Chaos region. To put it in Warhammer terms. Okay, I like how we're doing the capital pronouns when we're talking about the Maker. As a former Christian, I can always appreciate that. I always it was after Noah. I was rewatching Noah's video on Dragon Age Inquisition at some point. I forget why. But I was thinking about how it would be funny, and I verified that this is an option to play a game like that where it's like you've got magic, you've got all this like fantasy stuff. I mean, all this sort of stuff that like makes it seem like so obvious that there's like a greater power, like a god could exist. At least, obviously, from the in-fiction character's perspective, everything around them is about as normal as we view everything around us in reality, but it still is funny to think about living in a world like that from our perspective and being, or at least to me, it would be funny to like live in a world like that from my perspective and to have all of this magical stuff and phenomena and all that sort of stuff happening and just being like an atheist and being like, no, it's there's an explanation. It's not God. There's no maker. Sure, I can shoot fire out of my hand, but like there's a scientific explanation for that. To put it in those terms. So I just thought after watching, because I think in Inquisition he talks a lot about like how the world reacts to you as sort of like almost like a religious character or something. I don't know. I forget what it was specifically, but basically it just made me think about like how it'd be funny to play a game like that in a fiction like that where it's like so obvious that there are higher powers, at least to us from reality perspective, and to just play it and be like, nah, there's no God. So just this text talking about the Maker and all that religious stuff is making me think about that thought. Quick okay. Interesting. Can we talk to the mother?
Maker, prepare a place for us. Redeem our world from sin. Forgive our transgressions.
Maker, forgive us all!
Have you come to pray for your brother and father? I'd be happy to ask for the Maker's blessings with you.
Okay, so do I want to play? I'll play an atheist.
I would hope that one who may succeed the turn would value piety more than that.
No. Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about.
The prophet Andraste herself once doubted the path before her. Perhaps we should pray as she did. Creator of the heavens, world
Oh,
and
okay, so
seas,
this is one of those
we
things I
beseech
was mentioning earlier, where it's
your
like
son is
there's
astray,
the reacting to the
lost
player
in the
track,
wood of
and then there's the
desolation.
plot track.
May the flame of your truth guide him home. So let it be.
Alright. You know what? Fuck you.
I sincerely hope your soul is at ease. Now I shall pray for your father and your brother. Join in if your heart compels you.
I'm good.
Creator of the sky, the land, and the sea. Hear your people in our time of need. Let no man have cause to fear the shadows. Let their souls be lifted upon your return. So let it be. Your faith is silent tonight. I hope you are just deep in reflection.
100%.
There are many more who must receive the Maker's blessings before they leave. If you would excuse me. I cannot. Many await my attendance before they march into the unknown. We shall talk once the soldiers have departed.
I think everyone will be dead, but okay. I'm sure Maker will help you.
Evening, my lord. Evening,
God,
my
they
lord.
really only recorded that one line. Oh, got another fucking codex. Alright, what's this one? Interesting. Is there a book on the other one? No. Okay.
I'm sorry, child, but I must attend the spiritual needs of those heading into battle. Tomorrow you may talk more.
So is the X's like people I can talk to? Yeah, I think it must be something like that. It's like a significant marker of some kind.
It is over. I am done.
Oh, whoops. What did I grab? Shit. Okay. Ooh, it's a big castle. A lot of shit to do. Alright, so I got... Oh, whoops. Is this what I currently have equipped, or... Alright. Cool.
We have much to do. I will help however I can. What now?
Am I lockpicking, or am
Finished.
I just automatically like? I don't know. It's giving me experience, so it's like I think I'm lockpicking these things as a rogue.
Good evening, my lord.
Good evening. So I don't know. Whatever. I just want to explore this map a bit before I cut off the first episode.
Good evening, my lord.
Good evening. Yeah, this one wasn't locked at all.
The task is...
I have to be lockpicking. There's no reason why it would be giving me experience for opening this stuff unless it was lockpicked. But there's no like minigame, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I don't need there to be a lockpicking minigame. I've played enough Bethesda games. Okay, so it's crafting material or something. This whole place is gonna be burned down soon, so might as well get what I can. Servant?
We will serve you well while the Terran is gone.
Uh-huh.
We will serve you well while the Terran is gone.
Lord.
We will serve you while the Terran is away.
Uh-huh. I'm sure you will. I'm sure we won't all die. This is... What is this? Oh, this is this place. Okay. Lost my bearings for a little bit there.
There you are.
Oh.
Your mother told me the Terran had summoned you, so I didn't want to interrupt. Yes, I saw the Arl arrive. I fear your hound has the kitchens in uproar once again, and is threatening to leave. You know these Mabari hounds. They listen only to their master. Anyone else risks having an arm bitten off. I'm not willing to test that. You're quite lucky to have your own Mabari warhound, you know. Smart enough not to talk, my father used to say. Of course, that means he's easily bored. Nan swears he confounds her just to amuse himself. At any rate, your mother would have me accompany you until the matter is settled, shall we? She was entertaining Lady Landra and her son when I left her. Perhaps in the atrium? Before we go, my lord, might I beg a question?
Sure.
I've heard from several people that a Grey Warden is here.
Yes.
Is that true?
You gonna join them?
Then, is it also true that this Grey Warden was asking after me?
I don't think you want to join, but, you know.
Maker's breath. Are you certain? Can you imagine me, a Grey Warden? It would be everything I've dreamed of. Of course, I shouldn't get ahead of myself. Pardon my outburst.
He seems to have a more detailed face than the other ones. I don't know if that's just because...
We really should go after your hound, my lord,
yeah.
before he does something worse. Only what everyone hears. I never expected to actually see one. So few of them are hearing. Never. You hear about Darkspawn attacking homesteads, and I hear they only recruit the most skilled. I only know that once you become a Grey Warden, as you wish. But what if the Grey Warden tries to recruit you? Surely you jest, my lord. You're strong. The Grey Wardens would be fools to overlook you. He could change his mind. Grey Warden, Scribe Aldous once told me that the Grey Wardens used to burn
Right.
entire villages to keep them out of Darkspawn hands.
Interesting.
If they have to. A few villages are a small price to pay to save the world.
Okay, so are we gonna run into anything like that in our decisions in the game? Alright, this barking in the background's becoming annoying.
I suppose you have many other options. Me? I would were it my choice. Your father decided I should remain with the complement guarding the castle. Well, you know my father is a minor lord in the Banorn, but our land is little more than a glorified farm. I take great pride in serving the turn. Still, if I had the opportunity to, with his blessing, I imagine, joining the warden, of course.
Alright, let's go solve this dumb.
Get that bloody mutt out of the larder.
But mistress...
If I can't get into that larder...
Can't...
You and you! Your bloody mongrel keeps getting into my larder. That beast should be put down. A blight wolf is what he is. How am I supposed...
Oh dear. Mistress...
That's it. I'll quit. Inform the turner. I'll go and cook...
Nan, please.
Just get him gone. You two, stop
Elf racism.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that mess. There's absolutely nothing there.
Oh, encourage the hound, why don't you? No wonder he keeps giving Nan fits. It does seem like he's trying to tell you something. Wait, did you hear that?
Whoa. Oh, I forgot you could do that on the PS3. Let's name it... do I want to name it after one of my dogs? Let's name it Peanut. I'm having flashbacks to when I named my Guild Wars 2 pet after one of my dogs who passed away. So every time now, when I boot up Guild Wars 2, every now and then I forget, and then I'll start playing, and it'll have her name pop up on the as the companion pet for whatever class I was playing. It'll, you know, it'll just be like, aw. So, anyway, all right. So.
I shall do it. Very well. It is begun, as you say. Very well. It shall be done. As you say. It is begun. I shall do it. Watch out! Most excellent!
Alright. Well, there you go.
Giant rats? It's like the
He's
start
already
of
got
every bad
flecks of
adventure
blood
tale
on
my
him. Oh
grandfather
my
used to tell.
god, this is
Your
ridiculous.
hound must have chased them in through their holes. Looks like he wasn't raiding the larder after all. I've seen larger. They come up from the Kakari wilds sometimes.
Why?
But seeing as you've got your Mabari well in hand,
Why
I'll be
did
on
they
my way.
choose this with the
I'm
blood
to prepare
splatter?
for the arrival of more of the Isle's men.
Why? I need to know. Alright, well, that'll be it for the first episode. Save and resume this. Make sure everything came out good. But hopefully that came out well. I hope to make this a recurring thing. Hopefully I'll pop out another episode before I go to bed tonight. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. And as always, thanks for watching.